Extreme simple life techniques. That's what I want to talk about today because I think a lot of people should take this in consideration. Excuse the background noise. That's me on my commute to work in my vehicle. I won't have time to record a show today, so I'm doing it on the road in my mobile studio. All right. I think the way things are moving, I think a lot of people have, I know a lot of people have overextended themselves. There's foreclosures of homes starting to happen right now. Everywhere I go with clients, people are saying how expensive things are and they can't afford to fix their home and this and that. And it's really starting to take hold. And I remember this. This is what it sort of looked like in the GFC, the Great Financial Crisis of 2008. You started to see this sort of thing take place where people began to suffer. Now, we should only control what we can control, like we talk a lot about on the show. And one of the things is your lifestyle design. A lot of us are overextended. What does that mean? I think a lot of people, it's worth talking about. I think a lot of people don't understand why things are happening to them, right? I'm overextended, I'm broke. Look at all the extra things that you have in your life. Look at all the comforts and the wants in contrast to your needs. And if you just focus just on your needs, there's a lot of things that you can accomplish. You can save money, you can live a simpler life, you can have more time. And in fact, we were talking about how to get things done last week. And if you study what a lot of successful people do, like Elon Musk and others, is that's exactly what they do. They lived in their office and they just hustled. They just worked their butts off, and eating hot dogs and wearing the same shirt, And I'm not saying we have to do that, the hot dog for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a while, but it helps. No, you don't have to really do that. But I want to talk a little bit about my strategies and what I've done. I want to talk a little bit about tiny living, how hard it was. And I don't think I'm going to go back to tiny living, but I'm still adopting minimalist-ish living and simple living. Well, the first one I have on my notes is Shampooless. A lot of people don't, I think they call it poo-less. I was like, what? What? We're going to live such a simple life we don't even take a poop? No, it doesn't mean that. Shampooless is what it actually means. That's why I put the word there. And basically what this means is that, some of these simple life techniques that I've been using is they're actually healthy. They don't just save you money and all that, and some of them the environment. It's actually healthy for you. They say that there is this layer of bacteria and living things inside your skin. And I know it probably sounds crazy, right? You're not alone. You got a whole forest of things, microbiology and stuff going on. But no, there's like a pH that's going on with your skin, and every time you wash it and degrease yourself, right? There's certain natural oils. What's crazy is I look at certain tools that I use or metals, like the back of my truck. There's an area where I always grab to get onto, and you can see it's just polished with oil from my fingertips. It's a smooth surface. Your body's always creating oil to stay hydrated and moisturized. And what do? We come and strip it all out, just like we do with the land with big ag. We come in and just scrape the land, kill all the microbiology, the animals and everything, and plant corn, right? And soy and all that. Well, shampooless means just washing the privies. Some people don't even use soap. I'm pretty. I think I like soap, right? I just don't like it all over the body. So basically, especially if you work as hard as I do and you're sweating, that's kind of difficult. So a technique I've adopted where all I do is wash the privies, right, in the armpits, and surprised at the navel. I have a special needs daughter, guys. I got to give her a bath, and every once in a while, if you check in there, it's a gross place. I don't think a lot of people. It's probably the biggest tip of this show today is wash your damn belly button. All right, next, sleeping together in one room. So that's exactly what me talking about my special needs daughter. I've got a bed on one side of the room, and I've got a bed, her bed on one side of the room, and mine on the other. And a lot of people think this is really extreme, and it's actually sometimes quite beautiful, except for me snoring. My daughter hates that, but I get to wake up and look at her every morning before she gets up or before I go to work, and she's adorable. It's such an adorable thing to listen to her breathe. There we go. It's fixing the light. So a lot of people grouping up. I mean, it wasn't uncommon. I think that in women and men in England, I think it was, the United Kingdom there, where there'd be like 4 or 5 guys sleeping in one bed just because there was no room. Everybody was poor. So I'm not saying that's for everybody and that you should do it, but it's an interesting experiment to conduct to see how far I can go, right? All these little things here, like, and noticing that, it's actually not that extreme at all. In fact, like I said, sleeping with your kids to wake up like in a giant teepee, right? I think I'm referencing off that movie Dances with Wolves, where the whole family was, and the main character was in there. There was a whole family, everybody sleeping together in a teepee. We can't build teepees for everybody, right? Your own single little teepee. You spoiled little brat. Go get me a buffalo, right? Go get me a Tatanka. Then maybe, and you skin it, and then maybe we'll make you your own little room. Okay, so yeah, sharing a room is not that difficult. But you know what sharing is? What is very difficult sharing is a household, and that's exactly what I did. I've never done this in my life before. Very, very difficult. You got some people who don't want to wash dishes till the next day or a couple days. Of course, having teenagers, they're always a pain in the rear end, and the Aspercream, But yeah, it's very difficult trying to figure out what's fair. We all have our own personal ways of doing things, and I think that's probably one of the things that might make and break people is when they, if a recession happens and they've got to make changes. You're not used to the not the functionality, but the convenience of a lot of things, right? You can just cook whenever you want to cook. Well, somebody's in the kitchen, you got to wait till they're done, right? Some people they don't pay attention, and everybody's bumping butts, and it makes it dangerous. So yeah, living together I think is a very smart, sharing a household, but damn guys, I think it really takes this special type of person before you introduce them in your life, especially if you're a doer. I think from this point forward in my life, I am focused on doers more than ever. Because there's people who are doers, people who think that they're doers, and there's just don't doers. You got to stay away from the don't doers, and you got to be very aware that there are wanna doers, right? They want to do it, but then they peter out. So meaning you stay on a regiment. You like to keep your house all nice and clean, and wash dishes all the time. Pick up dog doo-doo, right? Bathe your dogs before they're in the house so they don't stink up the whole house and there's hair all over the place. And scrub toilets. It's one of my big ones. Even though I'm shampooless, I definitely want to keep my everything clean, and that's very difficult. It's my way, but not everybody else's way. Using a bidet. This is pretty crazy. I bought toilet paper back in 2022, I think in like January, and I still have not ran out of it. I don't really have much need. For those of you who don't know what a bidet is, it's basically a water squirter thing that you can squirt yourself off to clean yourself without using any paper, just water. Pretty cool. I'm actually addicted to it now. Like if I don't have my bidet, I'm like, that's disgusting. I'm not just using regular toilet tissue. No, I'm not doing it. I need something clean. I want to walk out of the damn house sounding like SpongeBob, right? And being smiley, all happy, just like, I want to be SpongeBob when I'm done. Next on the list here is, I heard when I came back from South America, I used to live in a third world country, and I never heard a lot of the sayings that people have here. Like the one here, it's yellow, it's mellow. If it's brown, flesh it down. I laughed my rear end off when I heard that. It's like, what? That is funny, right? It's a common saying here. But yeah, I think it's, for those of you who don't know, you can actually live off your urine within 24 hours. It's sterile, it's clean. You can literally drink it. Would I want to? No. But it's literally clean. You can wash wounds out with it in a survival situation. And there's people who've survived in the desert just recirculating, drinking their own urine constantly. So it's not really that dirty of a thing. I mean, for me, I don't know what other people are doing. When I say yellow, it's mellow. It could stay there for half a day or, all night. But that thing's getting flushed in the morning, right? But these are little things. You start adding all these nickels and dimes up. And especially, I guess, a lot of people wouldn't understand, like living here in Sunnyside, California, we have a severe water issue. And it's like, I would rather grow plants, utilize that water to grow one extra herb on my porch, right? Some people probably say, oh, how much money are you really saving? Well, even if it's, I would say significant, I'd say about 5 gallons a week, right? Maybe. And that's enough to grow a tomato in the middle of summer, all 90 days of its life cycle. So I think it's very significant. And it's just taking these little practices, just shutting the lights off. If it's not because it's good for the planet and to save energy, it makes you feel good that you're an efficient person. Decade of smoothies. I've been drinking smoothies for, I don't know how long, guys. Probably, probably more than a decade. It's very convenient. In fact, this week I looked and I said, you know what, let me make some bean dip. You know, I'm kind of like a no carb type of person. I try to stay away from carbs as much as possible. So these smoothies are pretty cool because I can just mix them with a banana in a jar, and I drink it. You know, at my lunch break, I'm always so busy. I did a show on how to get things done and shared with you guys my schedule. And if you watch that show, you understand there's not even room to fart, right, or sneeze. The whole entire day from when I wake up at 5 in the morning till 9 o'clock when I go to bed, there's always something going on. So these smoothies, I've been living off for over a decade. They're super cheap. And if I don't throw too much like frozen fruits and stuff in them, back in the day it was about $2. So I'm assuming right now it's probably about a $3 lunch. And that's a whole entire quart filled with flaxseed, peanut powder, plant-based protein powder, a whole banana, some coconut milk, and sometimes that's it. Maybe sometimes some frozen strawberries and mangoes if you want to make it really, really tasty. And my God, so this is why I kind of don't want to record the show on the road, guys. I'm sorry about those bumps. I don't know if it's coming up really bad, really annoying. Let me know in the comments if it's really, really bad, the background noise. All right, but doing the smoothies for a decade actually disciplines me too, to not have to use only what you need. Lately, it's been pretty, I wouldn't say extreme, but probably extreme for some people. I call it my Matrix food. From the movie The Matrix, it's got every little thing in it, nutrient that we need, but it doesn't taste like anything. Well, I've been doing chia seed with rolled oats, soaked overnight in little mason jars, little pint-sized mason jars. No salt, no nothing, just grained with milk, and it tastes like nothing. But I know it's got, I put flaxseed in it too. It's got a little bit of a grainy flavor, but not much. But it just occurred to me like how interesting it is that every single moment of our lives has to be entertaining, including our mouth, like something new. And me, I'm eating it, including myself, I'm eating it and I'm just like, this is boring. This doesn't even taste like anything. And how much I crave sugar. You guys want to blow your own minds, just stop eating sugar. Just anything with sugar, stop. You'll probably get by the first day, but by day 2, 3, you're going to see some crazy results. All right, next is water as a beverage, since we're going so simple. And I do mean this. Every once in a while, you guys will see when I wet my whistle, I've got this glass mason jar with a stainless steel straw. Which, if you don't mind, I'll wet my whistle right now. I just drink water. I stopped drinking soda years ago, energy drinks, Gatorade. All those things are bad for you. They got a lot of carbohydrates. They got sugar, loaded with sugar. So these are kind of things that, to me, it saves a lot of money, right? And then I use that for my barbecue Sundays, the money I save from just drinking water all day. No coffee, no tea, no Starbucks, no soda for lunch, just straight up water. Sometimes on a hot day, water is better than an ice cold beer, I gotta say, guys. Even better than lemonade. All right, next one is eating just enough. And I think I did a show on this, just enough. And just enough to me is with everything. It's the saving philosophy of the world. If we all just took just enough, right? We didn't have to chop all the trees down, but we chopped down just enough. There's nothing wrong with felling a couple trees or grabbing stones from the earth, but if we just did just enough, only what we need and nothing more. If we spent money, just enough, right? All of these things, we'd save a lot of money. If you ate just enough till you're full, till you feel content, not full, it's very interesting. Start eating food, and what happens, I think, with all these flavonoids or whatever the heck they call these things, MSG and all that, I think they know they put these things in food. Why wouldn't they? It's a perfect sales thing to where you eat and you can't stop eating. Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop, right? They're saying it. You ain't going to be able to stop eating these things, and it's true. But if you start practicing eating just a little bit, excuse me, and then waiting a while, maybe drink some water, you'll notice that you actually get to full. Your stomach feels full. And if you do an experiment on yourself and you're going to go, well, I want more. But if you feel your stomach, you're not even hungry anymore. Your stomach's just kind of there. It's your brain saying, I want that sensation in my mouth. I got nothing going on. Maybe you're like me where you never get out, and food is pretty much your entertainment. It's your everything. So I can't believe I just disclosed that. Yeah. Single dad and workaholic and whatever. Yeah, sitting here drinking my water, eating just enough to get by. No, it is pretty cool. I've lost a lot of weight doing this. I saved a lot of money by not overeating. And I don't know about you guys, unless it's sushi, I'll overeat sushi every single damn time, guys. I'll eat it where I'm like, oh God, you got to get a wheelbarrow and get me out of this place, right? Just dump me out in the street right there so I can take a food coma nap. But yeah, just enough. Cooking with a rocket mass stove is my next one, and I've done a little bit of it in the past. The house that I'm living in now, doesn't allow fire, so I haven't been able to use it. But I actually purchased one for myself for survival. It's a little tiny 3-foot rocket mass stove. It's a pipe basically. It looks like an L, and then towards the corner, there's at a 45 degree or 90 degree angle, there's a place where you can feed wood in. It just basically falls in and causes this burst of energy where a fire it'll just blow out the top like a torch. And it's all by natural design using gravity and airflow. So, and you can heat up your home using, one guy claimed he heated up his home with junk mail for an entire year. So I heated up tea and stuff like that. And this is a very simple living technique. And it's just so awesome. I made one out of cement. I still have it. I just made a 5-gallon bucket, used a couple 4x4s to just kind of forge some holes, like let it dry up and expand and harden up. Then I just pulled the 4x4s out and kind of designed my own thing. And me and my mom would drink something that's called yerba mate. That's from South America. And I'm starting to see that on the shelves now as a beverage. Really wonderful stuff. It gives you, it's like coffee, but it doesn't give you the lows, and it doesn't make your breath and your body stink. But yeah, rocket mass stoves I think are something really, really cool. Gas, and the reason why, I'm going to say on this one, gas prices have gone over double the amount. I think they're triple of what they were back, I think just even last year here in San Diego, California, where I reside. And God, I wish you guys could see the lagoon that I'm driving over right now. It's so beautiful. I get to pass by every day. But yeah, as utilities go up, I think we start needing to find ways to produce our own energy, and rocket mass stove is definitely one. So check out a rocket mass stove. One bowl, 1 spoon, 1 fork, 1 cup, and 1 ton of patience. I tried, guys, with kids to do the simple living, the minimalistic thing, and you know what? It's damn near impossible. I tried to do one bowl, especially with my teenager. And look, if you can't find your bowl and you didn't wash your bowl, that's not my fault. That's on you. You need to go find your bowl or eat out of a nasty bowl. I don't give a crap. You got one spoon, 1 fork, 1 cup, 1 bowl. I'm not going to wash your stuff. And it would disappear. And then my single cup would disappear. Then my 1 spoon would disappear. And it's just very difficult. It's very nice, I think, if you have order, if you don't have children, right? And you're able to wash things as you go. It's so simple. I literally can wash dishes, cook dinner and wash dishes, and as soon as I'm done eating, I'll go in. Everything's clean every single day. Not a lot of counter room that you need, and that was really nice. Now, if we can incorporate this into all other things, like I have, for instance, 5 socks, work socks, 5 pairs of underwear, 5 t-shirts, and stuff like that, basically rolled in a burrito. So every day, it's just grab and go. After I take a shower, it just makes life simpler and easier, and it's one less thing I have to think about. But if you could do this with everything in your life, instead of having all this clutter, because the more things we own, they end up owning us. And I have to say, through my experience, it was really, when it worked, it was really something, the 1 bowl, 1 spoon, 1 fork method. So, enduring tiny living. So for those of you who follow me, you guys do know that I lived in about, I think it was 180 square feet. I can't remember now, but it was basically a travel trailer that was 8 feet wide by 29 feet long. 2 kids, a dog, and a 6'4" adult who's bonked his head on the doorway. I don't know how many times, almost knocked myself out. Saw stars, and it's like, what's the middle of the day? There's no stars out there, right? I mean, it's just the door is what really, really got me. But guys, the whole thing, the amount of patience, I was telling you that, when you're sharing a household, having people walk behind you to go to the bathroom when you're cooking and bumping into you, it's like living in a hallway, is what one guy I heard, Tiny Living, was saying. And you know what? All your stuff, all the things that you start owning, like for me, working as hard as I do, I like having more counter space now because I utilize things such as a pressure cooker, an air fryer, a dehydrator, a juicer. I've got all kinds of a seal-a-meal, right, thing for a vacuum sealer, all kinds of different things, machinery that I'm using, food processor to make my life easier and to actually get more ahead in life. So living simple saves some money, but the amount of production that I'm able to do with food and energy and things like that by having a larger house, I think is outweighing that. And maybe not, like, because it takes a lot. We don't even use, well, I'm jumping the gun. I'll talk about heating and cooling after this. But yeah, it takes a lot more energy, I think, to in a house for sure. But if you live in a place like California, it's not really that necessary. So yeah, enduring the tiny living, everything's so crammed up, and just now having space, I don't think I'm going to go back. Yeah, I actually really think that tiny living could ruin relationships. It's that bad, guys. Like, you got to learn to have some patience. And I mean, you guys are up in each other's faces all the time. So I don't want to get too much. I already done a show on that in the past. So, all right, the heating and cooling I was talking about. No heating, no cooling. I have to say, going back to the tiny house thing, especially living in a travel trailer, when the sun in the summertime, you'd be trying to go to bed and you're just sweating because the heat retention, the thermal inertia of all the metal and everything, and the insulation's maybe a half-inch thick, right? It sucked. So there was times where I was just baking, and if I couldn't sleep outside with the mosquitoes eating me alive, I'd have to sleep inside. And that's when I would either buy a large air mover. I'll give you guys a tip. Forget fans. Forget them. They're stupid. Get yourself an air mover. It looks like a snail shell, and air goes flying. Contractors use them to dry things out on the job. You set that thing up on a table to literally, the first time I did it, it blew all my papers off the desk, my clothes. It's just like a hurricane inside the house. But you know what? You got air movement, and if you place it directly on yourself, you're good to go. But there's those days where it's triple digits. You're going to have to use an air conditioner, right? But living in this big house, I don't know. I haven't really had to. The amount of insulation and things in a home is built a lot better than a travel trailer, and no heating, no cooling. Now this winter it did get cold, but and I did buy my youngest daughter, my special needs daughter, a heated mattress pad. But that's it. We did not heat the house, nothing. And granted, for us, it gets down to like 35 degrees is probably the lowest, maybe 32 every once in a while. Enough to frost. There's stuff iced over. But I don't really find it necessary. I think it keeps you tough. It keeps you on your feet. It keeps you out of your comfort zone. That's for sure. Waking up in the morning just to go to the bathroom is like, as soon as you remove certain articles of clothing, you're dancing on the ground like Shirley Temple, singing a song. I didn't know I had those octaves. Moving forward, no heating, showering and washing clothes. I tried this one just a couple of times. So what this means is that some people in like third world countries, even here, a friend of mine or acquaintance of mine said they were doing a job and they all stayed at a hotel, and the guy was just, screwed up his life and everything, this kid, and he didn't have much. He was building himself back up, and he goes, dude, the guy was taking a shower and washing his clothes in the shower. And I was like, yeah, and what happened? Like, did he not do it well? Did he make a mess? Like, what happened? He's like, no, he just washed them, dude, and then hung them out in the balcony. And I was like, well, yeah, I've done that too. I didn't think it was that bad. I've actually practiced that. When I started studying minimalism, that's what you do is you fill up a bathtub and you throw all your clothes in there, and you grab your children's hands, whatever, and you guys walk back and forth. You basically create like a washing machine where you step on the clothes. You put soap in there and everything, and it agitates everything and cleans them all out. You rinse them and then hang them up. It's just simple. If you had, a place, if you're living where it's very hot and you just had a thin t-shirt and shorts or something like that, yeah, you could literally just wring them out, wash them up in the shower, clean yourself off. So you're doing two things at once. Or if you're using a bath to be a little more efficient, I don't see it as that bad. And I guess the point I want to make is like this guy tripping out on this stuff. Like, what are we doing? I think I'm not going to go too far in this rant, but I think people are worried about what other people think about them way too much, or they're way preoccupied into what other people are doing. And where this comes down to is you will be poor for the rest of your life. You will not achieve your goals when you are focused on other people's opinions of yourself and what you look like and what you do. Right? I'll bet you Elon Musk was washing his clothes when it got too bad in the sink in his office. Look at the story, guys. Do yourself a favor. Go watch what Elon Musk had to do to get PayPal off the ground, or whatever he was. I forgot which one. All I know is he was living in an office and literally bathing in the sink. This is Elon Musk. He's one of the richest men in the world. So I know I'm just a roofer, a contractor, and a farmer, but guys, it's not me. It's Elon Musk. might want to take consideration about that. All right, so next, buying what you need and not what you want. This is very difficult. It's not very difficult. Well, I'm trying to think if not really, I guess, well, I bought like some magic markers for my kid, you know. I take my coloring books and I make copies of them so we can color all the time. I get magazines out of the trash or out of the recycling bin, and we'll color in magazines with these pens and stuff. So she likes to trace stuff, you know, especially needs kid. It's hard for dexterity and all that. And we get to tell stories about it, and you know, about the people and the pictures and everything. So it's really cool. But yeah, we instead of buying what you need, we always buy what we want. This last time I was going to go shopping, I said I should get me another hoodie, which I may. This one's starting to get holes in it here, you know, and I got to look good for my clients when I'm selling. But I said it's still not bad, right? And I actually found one of my old sales jackets, this slick little, you know, contractor jerk jacket, I call it. It's all like slick with the company logo and everything in it, you know. Instead of my name being Adrian, it should be Slick, right? I'm here to sell. But it looks nice, and I'm like, well, you know what? You don't have to, and it's made out of plastic, which I hate. So it keeps you nice and warm, though. But I was like, you know what? You could save it. That's $30, you know, because I buy good stuff. That's one thing. I do not chintz out on things. I buy really good things. I can't afford to buy cheap stuff because I'll buy a jacket and like this one, and I'll have it for probably a decade. So yeah, I think in order for people to help themselves, you really need to start basing on buying stuff that you need, not what you want. What you want, you know, a brand new surfboard, a brand new guitar, you know, maybe some of those things can create some happiness in your life and make you flow a lot better because you're doing things that you like, so you're making more money. But if it's not benefiting your life in that way and you just look good for other people, you might want to rethink about it. And of course, there's going to be a bunch of manholes over here while I'm driving. All right, the last one I just said, I got the magazines out of the dumpsters. Yes, dumpster diving. I used to go with my grandfather to fish cardboard out, and it was very convenient. What we did is we got a broom handle with a big nail, and we make a hook out of it, and we'd like secure it to the tip so you could just stab cardboard and pull it out like a fish hook. And why did we do all this? Because old grandpa would make around $80 in half the morning, and we'd go cash that in. And then he'd take me to Santa Anita horse races where he'd go bet horses and sometimes come back with like $300. We'd stop at the buffet and he got money in his pocket and we're just hanging out, right? Having a couple beers together, and it was good times. And I just looked at, and the grandpa would also grab the cans and stuff like that out of there, and he would leave them on the side of the dumpster. Sometimes he had like a little bag. When it would get full, he would just leave them there. And what happened is the homeless guys who absolutely needed to rely on this kind of stuff would take the cardboard and stack the cardboard for him. So it was a really cool kind of thing to see, this community mindset of I give to you, you give to me. And Grandpa didn't need to. So I guess that's one of the big points. Grandpa didn't have to be there. He's retired. But he was very frugal. He didn't want to spend his money on things like gambling. So he went and he'd work so that he can go gamble, doing things, you know, things that he likes to do. So I thought that was a cool story that I would share with you guys there. And I sure miss my grandpa so much. But he would get stuff out and he collects screws. He was one of those old guys with like baby bottles, baby jar bottles and stuff like that, full of nuts and bolts. And he would take the copper out of TVs and stuff like that. Every time we'd almost have a heart attack. We'd be driving down the road and there's a water heater. He's like, pull over. You know, there's copper in there and or TV. And throw it in the back of the truck. And I was like, oh, God, Grandpa, we're going to go see family. We can't be having a water heater in the back of the truck, right? Hauling it all around with us. What if someone steals it? He's like, oh, well, maybe we'll get on the way back. So, yeah, it was really fun times. But, guys, I'm going to give a 30-day leave notice here. I've got to get out. My house that I'm renting right now, things aren't happening too well. I got to find another place. So it's going to take a lot out of me. So I'm going to try to do some YouTube shorts maybe, if I can, every day, or maybe break it down to one show. And I'm probably going to have to do it on my work commute with this background noise that you guys are hearing, because I got to get to work, I got to get to packing, and I got to find a new place. It's something really bad. Maybe I'll tell you guys if you guys are interested. I don't know why, but I just got to get out, get a place where I can produce my own food and stuff like that on a larger scale, because it's just not happening in this place here. Things have changed, and I'm very unhappy. But I got to pack, guys. I just moved in a couple of months ago, and now I'm moving again. And yeah, so there's a lot going on. I will be back. Please like, subscribe. If you guys find this show and you find it that it's given some value, the value for me is to know that you guys are out there and that there's likes. And if you guys really want to support the show, review it, give it reviews, give it likes, whatever platform you're listening on this thing, search in areas that you can, push that button, notification bell, or well, screw the notification bell. If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. But if you just like it, and if you dislike it, let me know why. Let me know what I can change so I can serve you better. All right, guys, that's the show. I got to get to work. I'm almost there. I'll see you guys on the next one, hopefully soon. I love doing this stuff. I don't think I can stay away too long, but I gotta adult up and take care of business first. So, guys, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.